Aloha, Soul Fam. Uh, Welcome to our end of days, right? DAZE. Kind of in a different spot, a little bit squinty because the sun's a little bit out. I don't know if you can tell. There's a little bit of shade, but good reflection. Um, I just want to come clean with y'all. I broke my fast yesterday, much sooner than I intended. And so it is what it is, you guys. It's related to, I guess, some other stuff. What I wanted to talk about today. Like one of the things, it took me a while to find out what the name for it was from somebody else, but Anhedonia. Anhedonia. It's like just an inability to feel pleasure. Like here I am. I'm on the ocean. I would really rather be nowhere else right now, but I just feel kind of numb. You know, and so I don't even know if I'm gonna end up posting this, just because I don't even have a subject material for any of this. Um, But the authenticity part is important to me, which is why I was recording. Where it's just like, we all go through ups and downs, you guys. I'm still recovering from my illness. You know, you know, Still don't have an ID. Just waiting for an appointment now. I got mostly everything lined up, so I should be able to do that. In case you don't know, I'm homeless. Um, Made a big move here. Everything was stolen. Worse, better or worse, I don't know. The other factor was I gave everything away too. And yeah, some important things were stolen. Were literally stolen from me. But I gave away a lot. I gave away a lot, thinking that it was going to help people. Also, kind of thinking my life was at an end. Obviously, it wasn't. I'm here making these videos, right? But even talking about this, the anhedonia, I, I felt it even before coming here to the islands. It's one of those things I've heard. Wherever you go, there you are. One of the groups I used to be a part of called Mind Shifters, great group, by the way. Um, I probably should look more into it again. Um, Everything with a grain of salt too. Uh, Kind of compiled works of Dr. Michael Rice. Great guy. I got to meet him too. Very down to earth. Um, but one of the things he'd say is, what was it now? And I guess I ended up doing it in an inadvertent way. The geographic cure, how like I would say, I can't, there's only one absolute right, but it doesn't work if you're trying to run away from the inside stuff and you just move to a new location. That inside stuff is still going to be there. So I recognize that. I thought a change of scenery would be good, and I had a misunderstanding of what it meant to be on the islands here too. You know, my experience was limited, and I was only getting my memories of this place from a long time ago, and then YouTube clips and everything. And I felt like it would be expensive, but I'd be able to deal with it. But there's this shadow aspect, and I can really only talk about Oahu because that's the only islands I've been at for my stay here so far. Um, I intended to see the other islands too before I got everything stolen, lost everything, gave everything away. And it was just to the wrong people, you guys. It was for the wrong reasons. I was also afraid for my life. I wanted to feel like I wanted to make some kind of contribution before I died. And then I didn't die. And then I ended up realizing I just probably gave away everything to people who were just going to use it for drugs, for violence, for other things, which, hurt even more. Harming themselves and harming other people, which sucks, man. It absolutely sucks. All I can do is just, take accountability, and I don't have anything. You know, I've been working super hard. Kindness for other people have been helping. And I hope you can hear me. I didn't even think about it, the waves and everything. when I listen to other, podcasters and everything, it gets kind of quiet. So I should probably talk a little bit louder, huh? Or bring the camera closer like I just did. Oh, well. I see somebody. They got their dog. I'm just going to leave them alone. You know, new spot, too. I usually like a more secluded spot, for sure. I just kind of did this on a whim. You know, I don't want to, I respect everybody. Respect everybody's space, too. It's hard when you're homeless, you guys, on many levels. And I'm sure I'm not the only one, right? It is beautiful here, beautiful sights. It's one of those things where on different days I can enjoy it more. It's better. I'm just trying to, understand. Am I grieving? Am I mourning? It's not even the stuff, you guys. It's just, being okay with everything, I guess. Someone's coming down, man. Let's see if they interact with us, right? Make sure to hold on to my stuff here. I can try to show you what I'm looking at. Flip it around. I'm not going to be able to see, though. Hope that was a good view. It could have been horrible, too. I don't know. I think part of it is maybe, it's not 100%, but part of it's loneliness. I feel very isolated, you guys, extremely isolated. And it's not just the islands, too. I felt isolated even on the mainland. But definitely, very much so here, too. There's been good people and everything, I bet. And everybody's got their own issues and everything, too. But it's just, it's hard when my perspective feels so out of, I guess, left field. It just seems so different. And so I'm trying to do my own thing, like is what it is. But it's hard when the rest of society's operating in a certain way. What I'm doing today, like I'm basically just recovering. I'm not doing anything. I don't really have any plans. Taking it easy, And definitely, our society would see that as an evil thing. You're only going to recover so you can be productive. And productive in what way? That's what I always say too. And that's the, things I agree with, I guess. What does it mean to be human? And have we tried to, in our systems, do they even reflect humanity? I hear people say just like, oh, humans are evil, humans are a virus and everything. And it's just like, I don't agree with that. Like, I don't know what else to say. Or, I guess in some ways humans are like technology, like I like to say. Because, technologies need to be good or bad. It's just how we use it. And maybe that's humanity too. It's how we choose, And I've talked about it before to some extent. I'm pretty spiritually versed. It's been something I've been curious about. I heard someone else say it the other day. I guess I'm an omni-truth seeker, trying to find truth everywhere I go. So in the studying of the different religions, it's nice. I've got to see quite a bit. One of the things I've always dabbled in and out of particular forms of it, the Bible, Christianity. That's kind of what I've been like studying or into most recently. There's a lot of people, man. There's a lot of people who are in that too. And hearing people's testimony and everything. And then I had an experience, yesterday evening, listening to stuff, and just for me, it's trying to maybe not trying to, but just learning to understand, the truth. What is God? What is God's heart? And why do I have such a resistance to certain people's interpretation of who Jesus is? Like, to me, it's more of an archetype, is what we're looking at. And when I see it in that way, I love Jesus. Like, the archetype is, I need that in my life. I need a savior for that. But that's an archetype that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about an actual human being. Um, and then we like, which is so different. Which is so different. But I also into psychology. A lot of Carl Jung stuff. Jung. It's good to laugh though. And I know a lot of people would probably fight me on that. I'll pray for you. Yada yada yada. In a good way, I know they mean well. I'm not against them. Like, that's just it. But it's just like I don't want to be put into a box. That's why I'm the omni truth seeker. It's like God wouldn't limit itself, himself, herself, to a particular book. And if it did, that would be a crazy world, man. Especially this. It'd be like saying, well, God is the ocean, but the rocks and the mountains and the trees, that's not God. And to me, I'm like, I don't see it that way. Like, this is all God, man. And we can draw metaphors, and create stories around it, but I feel almost it's more holistic, It's it's just different. It's God interacting with God, in different various forms. Like, if I think of anything, that's the big maybe lesson. I don't want to say mistake, but lesson for humanity is that if humanity is not separate from God, what that means is humanity is a version of God. And I think that's where I maybe butt heads with some contemporary religions. Um, and they polarize things where it's just like, if you think that you're God, okay, you're demonic. Like, you're totally demonic. You're off the rails, satanic. And if you're not God, oh, then and you're not worthy. Essentially, I'm not worthy. That's Wayne's reference. Wayne's World reference. You know, it creates a certain experience, and what I've seen at least is that people in that kind of mind frame, they end up falling prey to the people who don't have a conscience. That's one thing I definitely want to say is like, and that we examine that too, where it's just there's emotional manipulation that happens, and the people who usually emotionally manipulate are, a psychological term probably would be, psychopaths, maybe sociopaths. And I know they get confused all the time. There's differences, and yada yada yada. But the important part is that, and I'm going to go over on time here. We're going to have a longer talk today. I've already decided. Um, and we'll see if I can post it. Crap. Fingers crossed though. And if I don't post this, it's just for me. I get it. This is probably this isn't as upbeat as my normal stuff. And who knows? Maybe you can hear me. And, my voice is a little bit lower. We've had someone in the background. And the waves are pretty there. But it'd be funny. That's why I say, man, unedited, authentic. We just kind of see what happens here, right? So anyway, going forward, moving on with what I was thinking of, that's what I've interacted with, where it's just like I seem outside of the system, and so I'm not a psychopath, but I'm not, the prey of psychopaths either. But I have been to some extent. But it's been different for me. It's just like I kind of see what's going on, and then I get these warning signals. But I'm just like, well, I'm told to be giving. I'm told to be loving, which is weird because in some ways it seems like portions of the Bible were written by psychopaths to get people to conform. I gotta readjust here. My arm's getting tired. Maybe that's why I usually do like 15 minutes or so. I hope it's better, but I'm not sure. And I'm trying to make more eye contact too. It's hard. I don't even make that much eye contact usually when I'm talking to people. I have to kind of gather my thoughts about what I'm saying, and then I just kind of stare into the distance sometimes. So it is what it is. I'm learning. But like I was saying, I've always felt, outside of the system to a large degree. And tribalism has been one thing where it's just like I'm not willing to like this. To me, it has to do with integrity. I'm not willing to sacrifice my integrity to fit into a group, and that ultimately gets me in trouble with the group because most groups aren't based around integrity; they're based around conformity. And people in leadership positions in most conformity-related group structures, I feel like, are psychopathic or sociopathic in nature. Whew. Like I said, I'm getting over this illness. Right? Oh, great! Isn't this great material to watch? Uh, that's why This is more vlog stuff, more video diary stuff. So hopefully, it floats your boat, man. Makes it similar. Like, if anything, if I'm posting this and I'm unabashedly posting this kind of stuff, just be yourself, you guys. Like, it doesn't matter. Like that's kind of where I'm at now too. Even experiencing the anhedonia, it was like I don't freaking care, you guys. It maybe needs to get to that point sometimes for me or for other people. I'm not sure because the the conformity portion, on both sides of that, where it's just like I care too much about people, and I see the connection where it's just like, okay, if God is everywhere and everyone, then I can feel that too through our heart, through our feelings. I don't want to steal from people. I don't want to cheat people because it's like I'm losing my integrity. I've heard other people say I'm like violating God's law, which is harming God. I think that's why, to some extent, we all kind of agree on the same thing. We don't want to. I gotta switch it. Deforest everything. We don't want to kill all the species. We don't want to steal and harm from each other. Why is that? It's because there's this inherent knowing inside of all of us. And I'm tired of pretending like it's not there. And if it's not there for a very, 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 very small portion of people, it's time to just call it like it is. Let's call it a shovel, right? Time to start, I mean it funnily, but, start digging up rather than down in this case. Because, yeah, like, looking back, you guys, I know I'm just jumping all over the place, but, like, what happened in 2020 for me was just massive fear and conformity. And it ended up bad, you guys. Like, I won't go into further details, but pushing out everything that ended up happening with that was pretty nuts, you guys. A lot of people got injured. from conformity. Trusted authority figures that, you know, a year before, even a few months before, a week before, they would have been like, I don't trust those guys. Pharmaceutical companies, yeah, I don't trust them. Politicians, yeah, they're always lying. And then a crisis comes in, a crisis that the politicians talk about, and then they shut down the world, you guys. They shut down the world. And then those same people that they didn't trust are saying, okay, you got to take this, you got to do this. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, yeah. Yes, sir. Of course, sir. I'll do it right away, sir. I want to be safe, sir. It's like, where did that come from? Where did that come from? Like, to me, it's just like out of left field. It's like people have, split personalities or something. Which is why, again, I say this. It's just like, I'm out of left field. And a lot of people just harm themselves, like inadvertently, like because at the very, very least, what they put into their bodies, it wasn't tested. It was just kind of thrown out there. We're gonna say it that way, all right? Because I could say more on that, but I'm trying to keep it, G-rated, more accessible. I've heard of a lot, man. People's immune systems never recover. I don't know. It might seem ironic, I'm coughing and overcoming an illness, but this is the first illness I've had in a long freaking time. Oh, sorry. And a large part of it, in my opinion, is because I've been exposed and to, like, if I'm going to be honest here, I won't say which one. I don't think I've said it in my other videos, so they're safe. But I've been exposed to a shelter, which is just, I'm going to say it like it is, since I haven't named who it is or what the shelter is. But there's obvious embezzlement going on. The facilities are in disrepair, and there's like just the biggest thing is that there's like a bed bug infestation, and it's been there since ever. All the people I talked about, even years ago, where it was there even years ago. When I first got in, they were doing like a de-bed bugging, and guess what? I found out the night before last. It wasn't last night. The night before last, which was my last night there, that all of the mats that they give us are infested with the bed bugs. They're on the inside. It doesn't matter how many times you wipe out the outside of that mat, but they're on the inside. And so staying there means you get eaten alive, like by the bed bugs, by the parasites, man. And even just talking, and just that kind of a situation, every people there are like, at best, they're like defeated beings, trying to like giving up. They just kind of stay there all day, and then at worst, I feel like there's criminal elements in there. And so I won't get further into that. But they're using that area as like a staging ground, I guess you could say. And this is what I mean about the integrity part. It's just like, societally speaking, what I've seen is that the places that should be places of healing have turned into just evil places. Like everything's like, if we're living in the upside down, you guys, or like inverse mirror world or something. Because the way I feel about it is just like colleges and places of education are actually become indoctrination. Places of religious worship and reverence have turned into devotion to conformity. Um, and the list goes on and on. Business and everything. It's about abundance. It's about showing creativity to the world. It's not about making sure your shareholders get the bigger portion every single freaking time. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, you guys. It doesn't make any sense. Like the only kind of person who would be like that is a psychopath. All right. There's a certain point where it's just like, you know what? I have enough yachts. Like I don't need any more. like to that, it becomes, it's like an addiction or a disease. All right, and I think people realize that too, to some lesser degree. And I've tried to. This is what, like, a large part of my life, I've wanted to understand the middle person. I really wanted to understand it, and it seems to come from two levels, where it's just like it seems to be fear of getting hurt, fear of the unknown, and then what else? Feeling insignificant, like, oh, I can't do anything. Like, those people, they're big and strong, and I'm just a little person, and I'm afraid of challenging or going about my own way, because then I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm gonna stay in this, like, slowly more and more and more confining situation, because it's not getting more free. It's getting less free, you guys. Ooh, I gotta change positions again. I'll try to keep it under 30 minutes here, so wrap it up time, right? And I keep coming back to that, you guys. Getting over illness, getting over everything. I'll try to fast again here, maybe soon, maybe today, or at least before fasting again. I'm gonna eat some fruit. Try to keep my body, like crap, you guys. I feel like so much of, like, I was healing so good before I started to eat again, and I ate a lot, man. It was just kind of a circumstance. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just itchy eyes. Oh man. Unedited, you guys. I don't care. If you're watching this, I hope you like it. No, you like it. You like it when I, because it's not embarrassing for me. But I know people would say, "Oh, you're doing embarrassing stuff." Okay, whatever, whatever. I don't care. I can understand if you don't want to watch it. It's not polished material, but that's not my audience. That's not what I'm going for right now. My audience of 0 subscribers right now. Oh man, that's okay. Before I lost my phone, I was getting up there, you guys, on my other account at Keith Line. I am. If you ever want to see it, but I can't access the account anymore. But I gotta. That's why I'm putting out more stuff here. And a plug for what is it called? An old account. Well, yeah, that's what's going on with me, you guys. I'm seeing it, and I might even go over a little bit longer. Right, 28:08. I think that's okay. We'll see what I can post, man. Like, this might just be for me in the end, but that's important too. Just talking through this, like the metaphor with the shelter. It's just like society, you guys. If you're in a situation where there's parasites and you're sleeping on the parasites, and then the staff there won't do anything about it. They don't care, because guess what? They don't sleep there. All right, and this is what I think about society in general, where it's just like the people who are making decisions for the masses, and with the masses conforming to everything, they're not sleeping with the masses. This is where the saying, I love the saying too, where it's just like, rules for thee, but not for me, which is you know totally against the true golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated. It was a crab, man, that got on my foot. Right, zodiac Cancer, and a whole bunch of stuff. I'll make another video about that another day, because it's interesting stuff. I mean, we've been lied to on so many levels, you guys. So many levels. Ah. So maybe we'll just keep it there today. I might make a supplemental or something. So, I love you guys, man. Thanks for being here with me. We'll keep going, right? Peace out. Love within. Catch you on the flip side.